Hello, I'm Jeremy Searle, and our friend the pedestrian here was come along to help introduce today's segment to our daily internet video news and views show about things happening in and around the city of Montreal. And of course the subject is pedestrians, because the City of Montreal Police Department have launched again their annual campaign to encourage pedestrians to respect the rules of the road, the highway code, when crossing at intersections, so as to increase their personal safety, to keep them alive, and generally make things better for everybody. That's the theory, of course, but it's never really worked out that way. And of course, it's very difficult to convince members of the public, anybody, you, me, to obey a rule when it is not felt to be reasonable. And of course, the reason that, and I'm not talking about the incredibly stupid, there are incredibly stupid pedestrians out there, but I'm talking about the sensible pedestrians, the cautious ones here. You're not going to convince a cautious, life-preserving pedestrian that they're better off in Montreal to cross at a green light when there's a lot of traffic, which is cutting in front of them, cutting behind them, ignoring their rights, than to cross. Myself, I'm going to cross at a red light and there's no traffic, of course, because it's safer than crossing at a green light when there is traffic. My children were taught to cross the road safely mid-block between intersections, because of course we all know that it's too dangerous on one-way streets to have small children especially crossing at the intersection where traffic is swooping in off of the more major roads. The reason we break so many of the rules is because in Montreal it's necessary for life preservation. Now, if a police department, if the Montreal Police Department wants to convince the public, pedestrians, to respect the rules, first they have to go after the troublemakers, who are of course the motorists. Now, the motorists are the troublemakers not because they are necessarily more ignorant, less respectful, or less caring, less aware than the pedestrians, but because they drive vehicles which kill. Pedestrians do not kill, motorists kill. When did you last see a headline reading, "Bus driver dies as pedestrian runs red light"? It doesn't happen. And naturally, when you have the victim, the person who is killed, and the person who, through their own fault or not, or it's difficult to see how you can accidentally, in charge of a vehicle, run somebody down if you're paying attention. It's difficult to see how you should go after the victim as opposed to the person causing the problem. Now, of course, as we see in other cities, once you do bring the motorists in check and get them respecting the rules, then you can crack down on the pedestrians. Everybody, I think, agrees that it's okay to crack down on pedestrians when the pedestrians can feel safe and respected by the motorists. That is not currently the situation in Montreal, and it's rather nicely underlined by a quote from an article in the Montreal Gazette concerning this same story, where the police representatives note that they will also be issuing courtesy tickets to drivers who violate the highway code at intersections by crossing over stop lines or ignoring when pedestrians have the right of way. Ignoring when pedestrians have the right of way means you're willing to risk running down and potentially killing that pedestrian. The notion that a motorist who is actually stopped by a police officer for risking the life of a pedestrian should be given a courtesy ticket says something about the attitude here. It appears to be a public relations campaign, not a safety campaign. Perhaps you'd like to let me know how you feel about all this. It's certainly a very important subject, and one we're going to be getting back to quite often in the future. In the meantime, thank you for participating today, and drive safely. Good day.
P.
And a big fella too.